No BS Wednesday, welcome. So, BS. BS is all the things that prevent us from being the mighty woman who we are meant to be. What is what prevents us from being the mighty woman who we are meant to be? What is that BS? Are precisely those things that we do not discuss. The things are not discussable. Never. What we don't talk about. You know, when somebody asks you, how are you doing? I'm fine. And we don't talk about periods, and we don't talk about sex, and we don't talk about mental illness, and we don't talk because a good girl, a refined girl, don't talk about these things. Lately I was watching a video about that. A good girl doesn't talk about these things. And of course this is what keeps these things repressed and not solved, and actually growing into very big problems. So to talk about that, I decided to do it today through a story. And this is a story that fascinated me. It's a story that is targeted to 4 years old. So it's a story of course, there is not such thing as a dragon. So the story starts with a little boy who wakes up one day to see that there is a dragon in his bedroom. There is a dragon in his bedroom. He just sees it. And what is that? Well, he doesn't know. The dragon is tiny, and he's just playing with him, and he sees him, how he dresses, and it's not a bother. It's just a little thing. It's nothing to be worried about. It's just fine. Just another pet. You know, not like all these stories of the dragons that we have to slay them because they are so dangerous. But it's this tiny little thing that the boy can deal with, can live with. But he's really excited. What is that thing? What is that dragon? So he goes and asks his mom, Mom, I saw a dragon, I saw a dragon. And what is the immediate response of the mother? There is not such thing as a dragon. Tell me how many times this has happened to us. That we see the clothes, that you see that the king is naked. You see the dragon, you see the problem. And you go and talk about it with the authority, with your partner, with whoever, and they tell you, there is not such thing as a dragon. There is no problem. No, everything is fine. What are we talking about? There is not such thing as a dragon. So the little boy goes and goes for breakfast, and the dragon decides to sit close to him, but not anywhere else but on top of the table. Have you seen how little children sometimes they sit on the tables, and sometimes they run around the kitchen, and the mothers just behave as there is no such thing as a dragon. They just don't pay attention to anything. They look like they ignore the fact. They don't say, hey, you are misbehaving. Hey, you are disrespectful. Hey, you don't say thank you. You don't interrupt. Why are you behaving this way? And extrapolate it. How many times a man is disrespectful to us? And what do? Oh, there is not such thing as a dragon. We just go through life, and the husband does horrible things to us, and it's fine. We ignore it. The friend is rude to us, and we ignore it. There is not such a thing as a dragon. There is nothing wrong. I am fine. Oh, it's just one of my customers lately, it was so insane to me. She had a small tumor in her breast. And she went to the hospital to have it removed. And that same day, with the wound open, she went running 5 kilometers, she organized her children, she went working, and on top of that, she went drinking that evening out. There was no respect for her own pain, for her own suffering. It is really, it moves me to tears. We just deny our own self, our own existence, our own pain, because everything has to be fine and it has to be like Disneyland. There is no such thing as a dragon. Well, of course, guess what happened to her and of course in the story. The story is that next morning the dragon was bigger. So in all the examples that I have been giving you, what happens if we ignore the dragon? The dragon grows. So the dissatisfaction with the husband, the dissatisfaction with the lack of health, whatever, it just grows when it is ignored. And of course, he goes to his mother and shows her the dragon. And she says, there is no problem. There is not such thing as a dragon. And the mother just keeps cleaning the house and doing things, pretending that there is no dragon. And how difficult it is to do things when there is a dragon. And there is no wonder that we feel so tired. Because we keep just going through life, pretending that things are fine, because just there is not such thing as my husband is abusing me. There is not such thing as there is mental illness. There is not such thing as I need to rest. There is no such thing as my child is misbehaving, because there is no dragon. We live in Disneyland, we're fine. And how our work is happening every time more difficult, every time more dragon, and every time less space for us, every time less space for us. Goodness, I can tell you, I mean, this just drives me crazy. The last time I went to Mexico, I learned of more friends dying for this very reason, because they don't pay attention to their dragons. The dragons have grown so much that take possession of the entire house. And the entire house is their entire life. Their entire life. This is work, this is work, this is business, this is your house, this is your body. It's just, like the story of my client that I was telling you with the cancer. Of course it took possession of everything else, even if she wanted to deny it, to put makeup on top of it. It just took possession of everything. And then not only takes possession of everything, it takes your house wherever the dragon wants to go. It uproots you from the safety of your home, and it goes away, just as in the story. The dragon grew so much that had hunger. So he saw some food and he said, oh, how nice. I am going there. So what happens in the story is that the husband comes back. And the husband comes back and then, oh, what happened? There is no house. And this is a very interesting part of the story, because how many times we could be the husband, or the husband itself comes back and see that the wife suddenly doesn't love him anymore and she decided to leave. How many times we go back to our life and we see that we became terribly ill, that our children don't respect us, that our children have become totally disengaged with you, totally cynic from you, totally disconnected from you. That really the dragon has taken away everything, and there is absolutely just nothing in your house. So of course this story, because this is a story for 5-year-olds, has a happy ending. And I really love the happy ending because I hope for you to bring you a story and a solution to this dragon growth in our life that we're fine and we don't discuss undiscussables. Well, Mr. Bixby, because that's the name of the father in this story, Mr. Bixby decided to climb on the dragon. And from the dragon he climbed and saw his family. And he climbed and he started petting the dragon. He and his family started petting the dragon. And they suddenly realized there is a dragon. There is a dragon. There is that circumstance in our life. There is depression. There is cancer. There is growing apart. There is dissatisfaction. There is wrinkles. There is, you name it. Just whatever it is. And guess what happened? Guess what happened in the story? The dragon starts becoming smaller. The dragon starts becoming smaller. And I didn't, this one went wrong. I wanted to show you that they pet the dragon. So they pet the dragon. And the dragon was just sweet, And I have to tell you that in all the stories of dragons and princesses and castles, the dragon is the keeper of the gold. So these mythical creatures of terror or fire, they bring great gifts. But of course, just if you pet them, if you become friends with your dragons, you can talk with every single person who has ever had cancer. They always said, it's the greatest gift that has life ever given to me. I can tell you that the worst things that have happened to me, I have shared with you here sexual abuse, anorexia. I haven't talked about my miscarriage, but absolutely every single thing horrible that has happened to me has been the best gift ever to my life. And you know it. Think about the worst thing that has happened to you. The worst. That worst thing was full of gold. The moment you decided to become friends with it. As long as you were ignoring your dragon, the dragon just kept growing. The moment you decided to become friends with your dragon, everything changed. So the dragon became smaller and smaller and smaller until the mother says, well, if the dragon is too small, I really don't mind having the dragon. If the dragon is so small, I really can handle the dragon. So I'm absolutely very excited to share this story with you, and I can see your hearts and your thumbs up and that you relate. Thank you, Nat. But I want to invite you today. I want to invite you this week to make friends with your dragon. What is that part of your life? What is that part? What is the dragon for you? What have you been ignoring and pretending it doesn't exist? Stop pretending it doesn't exist, because it's going to continue growing. And it's going to take over all your life, because that's what dragons are for in our life. Dragons are for to expand you, to make you the magnificent woman who you are meant to be. Pet your dragon. Make friends with it. Your dragon is going to defend you, guard you, adore you. But you have to make friends. You have to look into the abyss. You have to become the dragon. So ladies, that's the story of the dragon. Bullshits, taboos, and the worst taboo of everything. I'm fine. Thank you very much, ladies, and I see you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Have a nice evening.